This symbol, as we know it today, is a visual shorthand for unimaginable evil. It triggers an instinctive response of fear and disgust. It has frozen the collective trauma of the West. However, this is history's sharpest paradox. Before the 20th century, this symbol was never a sign of hatred. It was the most sacred of ancient emblems. For more than 4 millennia, this symbol was an emblem of life. It represented well-being, movement, and good fortune. How could an icon of prosperity, which means that which brings well-being in Sanskrit, suddenly become the symbol of a racial ideology that shattered European civilization? To understand this, we must embark on a detailed historical journey, separating 3 entities: symbol, language, and race. Let us begin with its linguistic origin. The word swastika comes from Sanskrit, su meaning good or virtue and asti meaning to be or existence. The essence is that which is good. In India, the swastika is a representation of Dharma, the eternal cosmic order. It symbolizes the sun's movement across the sky, which guarantees the cycle of seasons in life. For Hindus, it often represents the 4 directions and the 4 Vedas. In Buddhism, it is often found on the footprints of the Buddha, representing enlightened mind and eternity. In Jainism, the 4 arms represent the 4 realms of existence within the cycle of rebirth. Archaeological evidence is surprising. The swastika is not unique to Asia. It was found on ancient pottery in Samarra, Iraq as early as 5000 BCE, on ancient Greek artifacts, and in geometric art motifs of the Navajo tribe in America. The core idea: this symbol is global property, rooted in the universal observation of nature and movement. For thousands of years, there is no record linking it to violence or domination. The leap toward racism began with a legitimate science: comparative linguistics. In the 18th and 19th centuries, European scholars, like Sir William Jones, were struck by the deep similarities between Sanskrit, Latin, and the Germanic languages. They postulated the existence of a common language family, which they called Indo-European. This was a model explaining how languages spread through culture and contact. This is where scientific precision was lost. Thinkers in the 19th century, fueled by German Romanticism and colonial supremacy, began to assume, if the languages were related, then the speakers must belong to a single, superior race. This fictitious claim was popularized by figures like Arthur de Gobineau. He advanced the idea of the inequality of human races, positing that a pure Aryan race had migrated from the north to conquer India and Europe, bringing civilization, and was now adulterated. The swastika was then dragged into this myth. Since the symbol appeared in India, the original Aryans, and in Europe, these ideologues claimed the swastika was the visual proof of the ancient Aryan race migration. This was the turning point. The ethical/linguistic term was converted into biology, and the sacred symbol was converted into the banner of a fictional racial heritage. Following Germany's defeat in World War I and the devastating Treaty of Versailles, the nation faced economic and psychological ruin. The German people were searching for a narrative of unity, justification, and most importantly, someone to blame. Before Hitler, there was already a cultural movement called Folkisch. This group focused on mythology, its Germanic roots, and often utilized ancient symbols. Some Folkisch groups had already adopted the swastika as a mystical symbol representing the revival of the German race. Adolf Hitler was not an original thinker, he was a collector of ideologies and a brilliant executor of propaganda. In Mein Kampf, he wrote extensively about the importance of symbols that must be simple, instantly recognizable, and emotionally powerful. Hitler needed a symbol that could unite the folkish element, mysticism and mythology, with the Reich, the power of the state. He took the swastika, but radically altered it for aggressive political purposes. Change was key: the 45-degree rotation, the use of red, for social, white, for nationalism, and black, for struggle. This was no longer an amulet, it was a visual weapon designed to capture attention and separate the Nazi identity from the peaceful cultural use of the swastika. Once the Nazis seized power, the swastika transitioned from a party emblem to a state symbol. It appeared on every document, every uniform, and every street corner, asserting ideological dominance. What the Nazis presented as fact regarding the Aryan race, we now definitively know to be a lie. Modern genetic research shows no scientific basis for rigid racial categories, let alone a single superior race that migrated from the north. The Nazis utilized twisted anthropology, such as skull measurements and Nordic type classifications, to support their lie. The swastika, the visual lie, became the flag for this deadly pseudoscience. The irony is striking: because the swastika was a global symbol, the Nazis inadvertently targeted non-Aryans, like the Chinese and Japanese, who historically possessed the symbol. The symbol was hijacked to justify the extermination of 6 million Jewish people and millions of other victims. The industrialized cruelty carried out under this flag permanently linked the ancient symbol with trauma and totalitarianism. After World War II, the swastika froze in Western memory. Effectively, the symbol was purged from public culture in Europe and North America. In Germany, its use is even prohibited by law. However, this created a major problem for societies that had used the swastika peacefully for thousands of years. In Japan, the swastika, manji, is used to mark Buddhist temples on maps. In India, it is an essential part of wedding ceremonies and rituals. These cultures are now forced to explain their deeply ancient traditions to a traumatized Western world. For them, the symbol never changed. What changed was the power of the narrative and the Western interpretation. The Nazis succeeded in their final distortion, forcing the entire world to view the symbol through the lens of hatred. The story of the swastika is a profound lesson on the power and fragility of symbols. It reminds us that symbols do not have inherent meaning, their meaning is assigned by people. When ideology takes power, it will kidnap knowledge, steal symbols, and twist language, like changing Arya, noble, into superior race, genocide. The goal of understanding this symbol's history is not to diminish the Nazi crimes, those crimes stand alone, but to understand the mechanism of distortion used to carry them out. Symbols can be hijacked. Language can be misused. And history can be rewritten. Our duty as observers is to reject simplification. Our duty is to remember the context. The swastika is an eternal warning. A warning that when we stop examining origins, we allow hatred to win the narrative.